employment. And well, actually, so,
What a topic.
you know, we're talking about, you know, and everything that's been going on in South Africa, and for a long time, people have been saying, you know, one of the biggest problems in South Africa is illegal immigrants. And so when you and I were chatting about it, we're going, okay, so what's the problem with illegal immigrants? And, you know, some people are claiming that the violence is because of illegal immigrants, and no opportunities is because of illegal immigrants. And so we can debate lots of those things. But for me, it's like, okay, so let's say there's 4 million illegal immigrants that have come into South Africa, and 4 million of those people have jobs. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, in theory, that means 4 million
Jobs.
citizens couldn't get jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But if those 4 million people went away, would that 4 million people who got offered those jobs take those jobs?
No.
Why not?
That's my opinion. Because it's not jobs they want to do. It's not jobs. It's. I feel like it's jobs that are beneath them, and I'm basing this.
Jobs that are beneath them, or the money's beneath them?
I think it's a combo. I actually think it's a combination of the two. I think one, the money's beneath them. Which is a big one.
Yeah.
And I think two, from their perception, it's a job that's beneath them. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't have a job. You don't have a job. You have no source of income.
Yeah.
But the job.
And the one thing I'm complaining about is why we don't have jobs.
Yes.
So I don't have a job, but I'm not prepared to do that.
Not that job.
No.
No.
And if I am going to do that, then you must pay me X.
Yeah. And I think right now we sit in a position where you're not going to get paid X for that job. So let's.
So you take a domestic worker.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. So and that's a lot of issues in South Africa. So what I call maybe not menial jobs, because I think being a domestic worker is a tough friggin' job.
Tough job.
Goodness me.
Tough
But so your domestic worker types of jobs, your
tea lady,
your tea lady, your gardener, your digging ditches dude, the tough jobs. And guess what? Those tough jobs, in many economies, are given to unskilled people.
Yep.
So now you have the scenario where Sully needs a mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sully needs a gardener. I'm the gardener.
Yes.
Potential gardener. I come to Sully and I go, boss, I'd like a job.
Cool.
Great.
I'm going to pay you $300 a day.
Can't live on $300.
Okay, that's what I can pay you. Though.
I want $500 a day.
Nah, what I paid my last gardener was $300.
Okay, so now I don't take the job because you won't pay me $500. Okay, now somebody else comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody else comes in, and they go, okay, I'd rather have 300 than have nothing.
Yeah.
Great. So that's supply and demand.
Done.
Okay, it's the transactional exchange. Transactional exchange.
Yeah.
Because I transact with you, I get my $300, I do my job. And the agreement is I'll do A, B, and C gardening and you'll get $300. Great. Transactional exchange.
Yeah.
Now, do I have the freedom if I find someone to pay me $500 to leave?
Yes.
100%.
You should.
I got it. Great. That's supply and demand. It's like any interaction.
Yeah.
So so you gave me a wonderful example. If you go into the shop,
Yeah.
and you want a Coke,
Yeah.
and the Coke costs
$20.
$20, and you don't have $20, you only have $10.
You can't get a Coke.
You can't buy the Coke.
No.
Okay, but the nature of the culture that we're creating, I think, in this country,
Yeah.
is I want the Coke, so you must give me the Coke because I want it, and to the degree that, in fact, if you don't give it to me for $10, I'll just take it anyway.
I'm going to take the Coke.
And then I'll justify why I deserve it, because it's unfair that I didn't have $20.
Yeah.
So because of you, Sully, I don't have $20.
So I can't
but
take
I want the Coke, so I'll take it.
How do we go about sort of changing that sort of thinking, that sort of behavior?
Well, but I just look at it like this. I think we've got to go back to principles. You know, the principle of exchange, fair and equitable exchange, balance.
Yeah.
And that comes to agreement. You know, it is, if I agree that I'm going to do something for you and you agree you're going to give me something in return, and we're both honest about the agreement in the moment, and I deliver and you deliver, we're in balance.
Yeah.
We're in exchange. We're in exchange. It's fair. In that moment, we agreed it was fair.
Yeah.
If I find out at a later stage that I could get more from somebody else, or I could get a better deal, well then I may feel out of exchange because I'm like, I have this deal with you, but I can get a better one over there. Okay? Now I come back to you and say, Suli, I can get a better deal over there. Would you be prepared? And you go, but I don't think it's fair because one, I can't afford it, or I don't think it's worth that amount.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do I get an exchange? I say, thank you so much. Cancel the agreement and I go over there. But guess what happens? I'm not going to stay and complain like hell that my boss won't pay me more. So guess what? I'm not going to do the job anymore. And now we get even more out of exchange.
Yeah.
And now what happens is my boss, you, get so upset with me that actually the business gets worse and worse and I end up getting retrenched.
Yeah.
Whereas if I actually went, you know what, I'm going to stay in exchange, I'm going to deliver so we can get more, and we start doing well, you will come to me and say, you know what, bud, I know you could have got 500 over there and I'm paying you 300. Well, we're making a little bit more. I'm going to pay you 400 now. And that's how our value grows. But people don't want that. They want what they want to have. So I want to come work for you, Sully. I want my 10,000 a month. You must pay me 10,000 and then I'll decide if I'm going to do the work.
Yeah, because it looks like it's, I mean, it looks like it's, would you say that it looks like it's nice to have? Right?
Well, I want to have a job.
Yeah,
I want to have a job versus I want to do the job.
Yeah, nobody wants to do a job.
Well, no, I do.
No, I'm saying not you.
You do.
Nobody wants.
We rock up every day to do the job.
Oh yeah.
Because I know if I do the job, I will have
what I want,
the result.
Yeah.
Whereas people don't want that; they want to have the result. You know that flip chart that we teach: be, do, have. You know, the little stick man to the big stick man. Be, do, have. And I look at it like this: people say, when I have money, then I will be able to buy nice things. Then I will be rich. Okay, that's the thinking. When I have the job, then I can do what I want. When I have the promotion, then I will do what the promoted person does, then I will be the promoted person. So there's this idea of give me first. Give me and then I will do. Okay, well, that's not how it works. Let me put it in this context. I'm going to the Olympic Games in 2028. When I have the gold medal and I've been to the Olympic Games, then I will start training. When I start training, I will start dreaming about being an Olympian. Well, it's absolutely ludicrous. If I say that to anyone, they go, that's nonsensical thinking. But that's how people think when it comes to business, when it comes to work. Give me a business, and then I have a business.
But why?
Now that I have a business, I can do what a business owner does, and then I can be a business owner. No, a business owner becomes a business owner before they have a real business, because that's called growth. It's about building a business. It's about creating money. Creation is a growth process. It's not a having process. And we live in this world of instant gratification. I must have what I want to have because I want to have it. And you must give it to me because you have what I perceive as more than I have.
No, I mean, it's interesting that you bring up the Olympics and you bring up sports, where I feel like that's kind of the only place where people truly understand it. Right? Because, like, so for example, you say that you know that if you want to have an Olympic gold medal, the do is you have to do a lot.
100%.
Whatever sports or area
you can't rock up and say, you know, because I grew up in Gauteng and you grew up in KZN, well, you get an extra 3 seconds off because because you're slower than me in 100 meters.
No, there's no handouts in sport. Nobody. You don't just get given stuff.
No.
Right? But when it comes to business,
sorry, in sport, when you see people do get given stuff, they get found wanting.
Yeah,
because you can never fake it in sport.
No.
So you can't fake, but in the world you fake it. So you can never fake it in sport. You get selected in a team. If you get selected in a team when you're too young and inexperienced, you'll struggle until you get the lessons. And sometimes you get dropped. I mean, you must have been dropped in your career in sport. You get dropped. You get dropped because you're not ready to be in that place, and you have to learn to get into that place.
Yeah, I actually remember that. I wanted to. Actually, the reasoning is, and this is going to sound so stupid. In our school, when you're in first team, you got this big puffer jacket to show that you were first team. And it went to that thing. I looked at it and I was like, that must be the best.
That was the only reason you wanted to play first team.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to have the jacket.
Because you use a friggin' heater in some... I can imagine. That was incentive for you to maybe I should do that for social media. I promise you I'll give you a big puffer jacket, you'll get more leads.
1,000% easily. Not a problem.
Do you want to have the jacket or do you want to do the leads? Because if you do the leads, I'll give you the jacket.
That's a good way to actually do it. Dangle the jacket in front of me. No, and I wanted to have that jacket so badly. So I was like, cool, I know what I need. I thought I knew what I needed to do to get into the first team.
Yeah.
Until I went to play, like to do trials for the first team. Holy goodness, was I not ready to be there whatsoever. I had, and exactly like you said, I was found out immediately. Because at my age level, I was talented. I was one of the best with my peers.
100%.
Now I go to first team level, people who are older than me, and I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing.
And could you put up your hand and say, hey, I'm younger than all you guys, so you can't tackle me as hard as... But that's what people want to do in business, Sully.
Yeah. You got to.
That's what they want out of life. Oh, it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's unfair because I come from where I come from, or I don't have an education, or I do have an education, or...
Yeah. You can't do
You couldn't do that in sport, could you?
No.
And in sport, in real sport, is supply and demand.
Okay.
You have to supply your talent, and if your talent is good enough to fill the demand, you'll get in the team.
Yes.
If it's not, you won't.
No, you won't. Very simple.
And how many people are complaining it's unfair, and you watch mommies and daddies on the side of the field.
Yeah.
And then they try to buy their kids' way in, and you're watching sport, and you're like, how's that kid getting on the team?
This kid sucks. Everybody knows. We all know you suck. We can see it. And it's not fair on the kid.
100%.
It's not fair on the person. It's not fair to put you in a position like that because then you kind of, and I feel like then that's how you move through life.
Of course, because that's how you get conditioned.
Yeah.
I get what I want, and then you have this false thing of what life is.
Ooh. And then when life really hits you, then you're like, wait, now it's unfair because my
100%.
My family and my mother protected me. It's unfair that happened.
People don't think that.
Nah.
They don't think I got protected. They just think I get everything.
Yeah.
So
That's wild.
So now you go back to the job scenario.
Yeah.
People want to have a job. My belief is many people don't want to do the job. They don't sit down and clarify the agreement. They don't create clarity on all parties. Are you clear on what you have to do? This is what you're going to get in return. Do you know what the consequences are? Da 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 da.
And it's usually simple.
And so what happens is I want the job because I need money. I sign on the bottom line. Then I start going and I'm like, but I don't want to do that. No, but that's what you signed for. No, but that's not right. And then we create problems. And now we get out of exchange.
Yeah, because now you do way less than what you were actually doing before.
100%.
Because you are so disgruntled with your boss. Oh, Barry said I was work on a weekend. I didn't know that I was do that. Yeah, but you signed a contract that said that.
So look at America. America's labor supply and demand.
Okay.
You get fired immediately, terminated. Yes, there's 100%. Yeah, there's. Yeah, I mean, there's laws around it, but you get terminated. You're not needed. Thank you. Done. Boom. You're not performing.
Yeah.
You're not performing for non-performance. Termination.
Yeah.
Go pack your stuff. The security will walk you out the building. Bye-bye, you're gone. You know.
Yeah, I feel like in South Africa, something drastic.
South Africa is totally the other way. So you have people that are begging for a job. They come get a job. They don't want to do their job, and then the business owner or the business takes friggin' months to move them on. And when you move them on, you pay penalties sometimes. And you know, we talked about that before. But for me, it's because people are going into one, they have an unreal expectation of what they think they should get.
Yeah.
And two, when they get what they think they should get, they're not prepared to actually do what they need to do in return. You know, I mean, how many people do you know that are half-assing their jobs?
A lot.
How long?
I was one of them.
100%.
I was one of them.
You know, so and you got what you got, and you friggin' snuck around the corner, and you were out of exchange.
Just show up. Just kind of do the bare minimum.
And then when someone got upset, like when I got upset with you, I was the asshole.
Yeah, it was your fault.
Unreasonable. And I'm like,
but what are you upset? What are you upset about?
But we have a simple agreement. You agreed that you were going to do this. Did you do this? No, well, you know, how many times have we seen that in our business? How many people have we brought into our business? We sat down, clear on the agreement, then they don't do it. And then instead of actually taking responsibility, they turn around and now it's my fault or the business's fault.
Yeah, Nicole made a statement once which I didn't understand, and then she explained it to me, which was, management are always the assholes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, when things go wrong, who gets blamed?
100%.
When you are not delivering on your job, who do you blame? It's management.
100%.
Nobody most
people don't take responsibility.
Most employees don't put their hand up and actually go, hold on, that was on me. I dropped the ball. I stuffed up. It's no, I didn't do X because of Barry.
They don't take responsibility and they're not accountable.
Yeah, so we were speaking about accountability once on the podcast where we were talking about like shooting videos.
Yeah.
So I have leads to get.
Yes.
We need to shoot videos.
Yes.
You are insanely busy. I can't get you to do videos.
Yeah.
I come into the meeting, so how many leads did you get? 0 because Barry couldn't shoot. That would be old me, immediate response.
Yeah.
Which is so far off because what else could I have done to actually get the leads? Did I actually
100%.
need the video? How badly did I need that video?
Yeah. Did you set up when I was in Zim that we did it at 7:00 at night?
How
we did it on Zoom.
Yeah.
What did you do to fulfill your obligation?
Because I said I'm going to do that. I said I'm going to shoot the video to get the leads. I didn't say I need Barry. No, I said I'm going to get the video. And I think a lot of people are operating in that. They're operating in the thing of because somebody else didn't do X, I couldn't do Y.
Yeah.
And it's like those two things are not connected though, because you could have done X even though that person didn't do Y.
So now you go back to where we started. Okay, so if you waved your wand and all illegal immigrants left South Africa, and there were 3 million free jobs, how many people would take those jobs for the supply and the demand?
Genuine answer, 100,000 or 3 million.
So, and most people would complain because the reality is many people don't actually want to do a job. They want the money.
Yeah,
they want to do what they want to do, but they need the money, so they want to have the money to have what they want to have without actually fulfilling the obligation of doing it.
100%.
It's like getting fit. I want to get fit, but I'm never going to go to the gym and I'm not going to eat healthy.
Yo, I wish that could be. I wish.
100%. And guess what? You'll go on to one of these amazing channels that says, rub this stuff on your stomach 3 times a day. And someone like you will go buy that shit in 6
What do you mean, someone like me? How dare you? I've never taken any supplements.
That's not a supplement, Chuck. That's a miracle rub-on fat reducer.
I'm not the liver king.
You know, I see some of those machines, like strap this on and
while you work, while you
work, do it 15 minutes a day and you'll have abs like a Marine.
All you do is just vibrating like a Marine.
Like a belly dancer.
Yeah, all you do is that.
But then someone, instead of actually going, understand what builds abs, what you eat and how you train.
Simple.
It's very simple. But they're not prepared to do the simplicity. So we go after all the, I want it easy, and that's what it comes down to.
That's right.
You know,
that's why plastic surgeons are killing it right now.
Hundreds.
I'd love to be. I didn't have the marks for it, but man, plastic surgeons are making money in this fake world right now.
Hey,
yo, people got 6-packs from nowhere. I saw you 2 weeks ago. And you're fat. Now you got a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I can't even edit that out. What a disgusting sound. I think that's what it probably sounds like when they dig it.
So, but instead of actually, where's our work ethic? Where's the principle? The principle is you have to put something in to get something out.
Tell you what, lazy.
The world's lazy, Suleman. The world's friggin' lazy.
I'm saying we've gotten lazier.
Much lazier. You go back and look at pictures of the 60s and 70s. How many fat people were there?
It's actually true.
Go look at pictures of people on beaches. People, go back to, I don't know. Go back. Look at the Zulus. How many fat Zulus were there running around, friggin' throwing spears? 50 people into my sales explosion, and I'll double what I paid you last month.
Cool.
Okay.
I know what I need to do.
Now is that fair? Now you have to weigh it up and say, well, can I do it? Can't I do it? Is it worth the exchange? Is it worth my effort? And if you say, excellent, I'll do it, they go do it. If you come back and say, I only put 20 people in, but still,
that's not the agreement.
I go, chum, that's not our agreement. And then you, likely, if you're like most people, are going to turn around and blame me. And then you're going to go to your mate's Brian and say, the guy I work with, what an asshole, this is what I did. But you won't tell them. Actually, our agreement was, that's the deal. You won't tell them our agreement was 50, and I only did 20.
No, because I don't want to look like an asshole. That's all.
100%.
It can't be too assholes.
And then what happens? You actually just happen to be hanging out with other people that are doing exactly the same thing. So you all create the same truth, all find the same agreement. Because now you go back to work and you've fueled it that all the bosses are assholes. And then you meet someone at coffee and you tell them the story about your mate, and don't you think that's the same
And if that person agrees,
And
well,
you
guess
go-
what? We all agree together that our bosses are assholes.
100%.
And nothing changes.
And
in
when
our
everybody agrees, it becomes true. Even if it's not factual.
lives. Ooh. Yeah, we got to fix this.
So,
I think we really gotta fix the way, and I think like the way you just explained that, right? Go to your boss. What do you need to do? Or, like, agreements are agreements. You make an agreement with your boss or your whoever you work with. They say
100%.
you want to earn more. Cool. This is what you need to do to earn more.
Yeah.
Awesome source. Go and do it. If you don't do it, come back and say, look, I didn't do it. So our agreements is. Can we
100%.
still hold our agreements? Yes, we can. Cool. I'm going back to do it. I guarantee that you'll learn some stuff on the way, though.
100%.
One, you'll learn how to negotiate.
But you have to be committed to now do what's needed to be
Yeah.
done to get that done.
Yeah.
And that's when you learn. In my business, I want to double my business. Who's going to... How am I going to do that, Sully? I have to do what's needed to be done.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for someone, I don't know, in government or to give me money or the bank to
next
suddenly
big
phone
deal.
me up and say, hey, Barry, we were thinking about you today and we decided that, and I'm not sitting here saying I want to double my business, but it's unfair because no one will give me double business. What do I have to do? I have to get off my ass, go out, pick up the phone, meet people, do a whole lot of stuff, invest some money, do some free events, do a whole lot of stuff, and find customers.
Yeah, I mean,
and over time, I double my business.
You trained this weekend, a company.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday, you didn't. Tuesday, Wednesday, you did.
Yeah.
Thursday, which is today, you had a meeting.
I had meetings this morning.
Tomorrow, you probably have meetings as well.
Yeah. So tomorrow I have 2 client meetings, and then I'm going out other side of Pretoria to view a venue for our 5-day Ultimate Greatness experience.
So you're doing what needs to be done.
100%.
So I'm talking about like the doubling of the business, like you said. You're doing what's needed to be done to double the business.
100%.
You could sit around.
I mean, most people would, and I'm not putting this out for sympathy. But from last Friday, I've been on antibiotics for my chest. Well, guess what? Suck it up and do it. I had to.
Yeah.
Why? Because I had to do what was needed to be done. I didn't have to, but I made the decision that I was going to do what was needed to be done.
And I mean, you can.
And I didn't arrive at my client and say, "Oh, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm not feeling well." Otherwise, I shouldn't have gone. I should have. But I went to my client, sucked it up, did what. And people aren't prepared to do that in this day and age, silly. We are becoming so friggin' soft.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Everyone wants stuff without doing it.
That's crazy.
But the reality is, you go back to it. The principles of life, God's principles, the world's principles, universal principles, they don't change.
No.
They are what they are. Exchange exists. What you put in, you get out. What you sow, you reap. It is what it is. It's a principle of life. It doesn't matter how much you think about it. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it, don't believe in it. It's a principle of life. It's like gravity. Gravity is a principle of life. Doesn't matter how flat, round, square, upside down the earth thinks is. Doesn't matter how many tinfoil hats you wear or don't wear.
Jump and find out.
Well, 100%. You go on top of a building. If you don't identify with gravity and you jump off, gravity will identify with you.
Boom.
And so I say it like that because, why? Because my observation in life is there are principles in life that when we follow those principles, when the time and the timing is right, we will get what is due to us.
Yeah.
But you have to follow the principles and do what is needed to be done, and then you will get what should come back. When you learn the lessons that allow you to move forward. People don't want to learn lessons, silly.
No. Lessons are too hard.
No, because and also I take it back to our education system. Why? Because people are told if you actually just know stuff, then you're smart and you can earn money. So we have lots of highly informed, stupid people who can't apply. It is yes, you have to know stuff, but success and results comes from application. And this is not rocket science stuff.
No.
But people don't want to do it. You want to make more money in sales? Close more deals. I know it's hard. Good. Yes, it's hard. Well, get off your ass, close more deals. No, my boss must pay me more. No, you have the opportunity to earn commission. So people don't want to do that. But so you go back to supply and demand. So I want we want a new salesperson in our business.
Yeah.
Well, guess I know exactly what I can afford to pay them. I know exactly what I want them to do. I know exactly how much commission we're going to pay them. And when they come in, when we find the right person, we're going to have an agreement. And if they don't do it, I'm going to cut them loose. It's very simple.
Yeah. Very simple.
And I am very sure that they may blame me, and that was unfair. But when I sit down and say, did you agree to move this every day from here to here? Yes, I did. Did you do it?
No.
No. But that's what will happen.
No, well,
And then, okay, why didn't you do it? Well, I didn't know how to do it. Did you come to me and say, I need some training? No, but that should have been, you should have known.
How should
And
I?
again,
You said that you can sell. What do you need training?
100%. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we don't, people don't take that level of responsibility. So it's supply and demand. So I think, yeah, for me, how do you change your life? Take responsibility for your life. None of us can choose. None of us can choose the circumstances at times we find ourselves in. But we can choose how we deal with those circumstances.
Facts.
Okay. None of us can. You can't choose the color of your skin that you were born with, and nor can I.
No.
You can't choose. You came from a wealthy background. I didn't.
Can't change that.
Neither of us can choose that.
Nope. Not if you.
It is what it is. Does it make sense? You know.
Yeah.
But we can choose that. We can choose how we deal with the circumstance. No one said it's easy. In all areas.
Yeah.
We can choose how we deal with the circumstances and the choices we make to move to the level we want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I look at something like, because we're talking about sports, and I watch it when it comes on. I don't watch it a lot, but like Paralympics.
Yeah.
People who are born with, or whatever happened to them.
Sure.
Those are circumstances that they could not have control.
And what they create out of their life.
They make a choice that, you know what, and I mean, you're talking about this able-bodied people who won't get up off their asses to walk from here to there.
100%.
People who don't have legs and they're freaking running 100 meters.
Yeah.
You got to choose it. You choose what you want to do, and you choose the life you want to have. And I hope that you choose to subscribe to the channel. You have a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Uncovering Greatness podcast.
And if you're interested in a great read, my latest book, A Salesman's Journey.
Left it there, pointed from so far. Bang! A Salesman's Journey. 30 plus years of Barry's journey, Barry's life.
Go to Uncovering Greatness.
Learn timeless
.com.
lessons that will make you rich.
And if you really want to know this, sales is the highest earning profession in the world. Largely undertaken, sadly, by people who are broke.
And think about this. All the billionaires in the world are salespeople.
They can all sell.
We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. Thank you for watching, listening, wherever you are in the world. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.